I always thought that my childhood was, I don't know, I thought everybody's childhood was like my childhood. I really did. And maybe everybody feels that way. And I didn't realize that maybe my childhood was a lot different than many people's until after I was a full grown woman. Uh, my mother and my father were married to each other, and they seemed to have fun with each other, actually. And I can remember smacking her on the butt in the kitchen sometimes when she'd be in there trying to cook something. She'd say, "Come with me, Ellis." And she'd sort of laugh about it a little bit. And then I don't remember. I know that there must have been single mothers in the neighborhood there where I lived, where I grew up on the east side. But I don't remember any of them because all of the women that I knew were married. Most of them were married to men who worked there in the area. A lot of the men knew each other. Some of the women knew each other too. Um, but there always seemed to be intact families that I can remember. I had cousins, and I would go over to their house and visit with them. I could walk over to their house because we had a lot of kinfolks in the East End, sure. So I sort of thought that was the way it was. I really thought everybody grew up with a big extended family around them. I thought everybody grew up with a dad who just went to work. He went to work every day, sometimes all day long. Sometimes he would. I thought everybody had a mother who was at home and with them when they were there whenever you needed her. Um, Always with some lesson to teach you. Always reading us something. Always telling us some story. Laughing, lots of laughter. I thought that was the way everybody's life was, and so I had absolutely no understanding of any other lifestyle because that was sort of what I had known. And we didn't have money, but I never thought of us as poor. I didn't know what poor was. I'd never heard of that word before. I would hear the word poor in just everyday language almost years later, maybe when I was in college and we were studying in this sociology class about these different economic levels of people. And so they had the there were three levels, I believe. There was the poor, and then and then you had three levels of poverty. Poverty wasn't even, I don't even think we mentioned the word poverty when I was in college yet. But the poor and the middle class, and then there was the upper class or the rich, and then there was another class on top of that. And these were the people they said who had generational wealth, and that usually people who had generational wealth didn't really consider these newly rich people as being really rich. I don't remember us ever talking about wealth and poverty, poorness, not poverty, poorness there. I don't remember us ever talking about that in any of my classes when I was in college as it related to money. Mm-mm. No, I don't ever use saying that if you made this much money and this was your income, you'd probably fall into this bracket. Or if you were this is what you fall into this bracket. No, I don't recall it. If we learned it, I don't recall it. But what I do recall is it seems that every time they would be talking about poverty, and I'm sorry, I keep saying poverty. Poverty came later. I don't want to use that word now. It'd be a little while before poverty came into my vocabulary. But whenever they talk about people being poor, uh, they would point of reference was always black people. Always, always. They talked about the poor black farmers. That was their example. The poor black woman on welfare. The, the, the poor. Everybody was poor, and I was a bit dumbfounded with that because I just hadn't heard of that before. So anyway, I went ahead and got through, left that, and then my daughter years later, okay, almost 2 decades later, had gone to the same college that I had gone to. She called me because she was in a sociology class, and she was getting progressively angry in that class. And the reason she was getting angry was because they were talking, they were having this conversation in the class, and the professor, of course, considered the expert in the field, was talking about these black women and how they have all these babies, and then they do that so they can get on welfare, and then when they get on welfare, it makes it harder for everybody else because everybody else is having to pay for this on welfare, and so my daughter is sitting in the class just sort of staring at this man, and she's doing that because of the fact back then I was a single mother. I was divorced. Uh, I had her as a single mother because I had her before I married. So I had her. I was a single mother then. I later got married to someone else. That divorce had come. I had raised her and now two other children because I had three children by then, all as a single mother. I had gone to school. By the time she was in college, I had earned my bachelor's degree, And I believe I had finished. Yeah, I had no. I finished my master's degree while she was in college, just as just as she was in. Well, no, I didn't. I finished it before she graduated. She was in college when I finished my master's degree. So I finished all of that, and I was working as a registered nurse, and doing quite well with it. Actually, by then I had become an associate chief of nursing education, and children were doing fine. Uh, well, I don't guess I ever thought of us as being poor people. And I had never heard anybody say to me, you just having these babies so you can get on welfare and, you're going to be a burden on society. I never heard that, but my children hadn't heard that either. So this is all new stuff to us. We don't know what the hell is she talking about. So my daughter calls me very upset about that. Two reasons she was upset. Number one, because that was being said. What do you do when you're in a class and you're a black person who's in this class now? And this is the way they're taken. You're going to either have to get into an argument with the professor at that point, because it will be an argument because he is the expert and you're considered not the expert. So you got to sit here, you're the student. So you're going to get in a very defensive kind of argument with the person, which may or may not affect your grades up the road, by the way. Or you end up sitting quietly, don't say anything, shutting it all out. Or you take it all in and you try to figure out, how am I going to redress this? And I think she was at the how am I going to redress that? And that was why she was calling me, almost in tears. And I told her there are a lot of people who believe that. That is not true. Uh, in reality, there are probably more white people on welfare than there are black people. And we need to change that narrative. That's for sure. That's for sure. And then when she called me again, I think it was a sociology class again. Here we go again. Every time we talk about poor people, this was where it was going. And this time they talked about uh, uh, black people on farms that were down in the South on the farms. Well, my family on both sides of my family owned a farm, had been landowners for generations. Ever since they got out of slavery, almost they had been landowners, and so yeah, we knew about farm life. We tried to spend as much time as possible with the grandparents. That was really important to us in this family because we wanted to learn that. We had to learn their culture. So they were talking about field hollers, and they were talking about field hollers as if it was some primitive, some primitive way of being that was just out there. And so my daughter remembered. She remembered me talking about that, so she knew, that was not true at all. She calls me again, and she said, "So, Mom, you know what a field holler is? What is a field holler?" I said, "Oh, girl, you know what a field holler is. Remember when we were down to Two Mama's house? That was my grandmother. We called her Two Mama. When we were down to Two Mama's house, and sometimes they would be working out in the field there, and maybe it was time to either I don't know, end for the day. Maybe I was coming with the water so everybody could get a drink of water. Um, those kind of things." And she said, "Well, what is it?" I said, "Well, that's sort of how you call people. I said, you go, woohoo, hey!" And she says, "Really?" She said, "So what, is that some primitive something?" And I said, "Well, I don't know what you mean by primitive." I said, "It's a way of signaling, it's a way of talking, it's a way of getting people's attention." And she just said, "Okay, thank you." But those are the kinds of situations that I knew then we got to change a lot of narratives here because these are put down narratives and we won't stand for it anymore. Okay, thank you.